Emma, and I'm back today for you with another video, and we are doing a book review today. It's not a positive book review, however, it is not a rant. The book that we will be reviewing today is The Power by Naomi Alderman. The Power is about this, our modern day world, but one day all the women suddenly have this power that ultimately changes the flow of the patriarchy in our society, and in societies all around the world. And it's just kind of a whole thing where, like, what if the roles were reversed and what if women had the power in the world, Or what if women had power over men? So the trigger warnings that I would put out for The Power are obviously violence, rioting, homicide, and sexual assault. I watched Jess's video and how they talked about it after I had finished it, and it pretty much summed up how I thought too. So I'm gonna leave their video down below in the description box if y'all wanna go check that out. Today, we're just going to be talking about what I think the book did well versus the major part of the video, which is what I think this book didn't do very well. This review will also be spoilery, so, if you haven't read the book and you don't want to be spoiled, I wouldn't watch this video. However, if you have read the book or you haven't read the book and you really don't care, stay tuned. Since this book is considered a piece of feminist literature, I want to know down below what y'all's favorite piece of feminist literature is, okay? So with that being said, let's get on into it. Okay, so the pros. I love the differentiation of the power in different women. I thought that was really individualistic and kind of cool, honestly. For example, there were some women that could black out their entire city. There were some women that could barely even conjure up a spark. There were some women that on Wednesdays they could black out their entire house, while on Thursday they could barely even do anything, right? And then there were some women that didn't have the power at all. And then there were even some men that had the power. And so you really saw how almost divided it became into classes almost amongst the women, or just in general the people that had the power. The writing itself was really impactful. Like, the tense parts had my heart going a mile a minute. The writing in this book had me in shackles. I was basically on the edge of my seat the entire time. And then I did like the characters. We follow 4 main points of view. Some of the points of views kind of shift a little, but the 4 main characters that we follow are Tunde, Margot, Roxy, and Ali. And we follow basically their stories and how they all tie together at the end. And I don't know, I really liked them. There were some that I thought were good and some that I thought were, Speaking of, that pretty much leads into our next section. Con number 1. Tunde's character as a whole. He is a Nigerian man, and he decides to become a reporter and report around the world how the power is affecting different societies, and we see through his eyes what happens around the world. And unfortunately, that is one of his only purposes. Tunde's character serves 2 purposes in my mind. To be our eyes and show us what is happening around the world, and to be lusted after. Every time a woman found Tunde unbearably attractive, incredibly attractive, I lost a freckle. Tunde served the purpose of a camera. And he was honestly kind of a blank slate. The moment he became the reporter and became the reader's eyes and ears, he just kind of loses his individuality, and like I said, he becomes a camera. That's what Tunde is. He is our eyes and ears, and he is a blank slate to cater to us. Other than Ali, who is biracial, Tunde is the only black main character that we have, and it was just a little disappointing. Okay, con number 2 is honestly where the bigger problem that I have with this book arises. Basically how it all goes down when the power shows itself and how the world reacts to it. Through the camera lens that is Tunde, we first we go to the Middle East. right? Because apparently that's where all of the rioting is going on. And while it is cool that in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, all of the women are putting their hands on the car engines and making the cars explode, I had to think about that as we went on throughout the Middle Eastern countries that we see, why it was only the Middle Eastern countries that were rioting. There is a very stark difference between the revolution in the West versus the revolution in the Middle East. It was very odd to see the fact that the damage and the violence was being perpetuated in only Middle Eastern countries. And then you have in the West, you know, in the US and the UK and everywhere else, it was the word civilized, how much more civilized the upstart was. Jess said it perfectly. The feminism was very odd to me. It just felt very vilifying in the gaze that we were given of the Middle Eastern people in this book, because obviously Muslim men must be horrible to their wives, and obviously Muslim women must just be loose cannons ready to strike. Like, really? I don't know, that was just very icky for me. I didn't like it. Con number 3, which is, again, one of my bigger things, is how the gender imbalance, I guess, was portrayed. Now, my big gripe in this section is the women having the power over the men in this book. Now, let me explain. If women did overthrow the patriarchy and it was now a matriarchy, I'm not blind to the fact that there would be as evil women as there were men, right? I was disappointed by the fact that only the evil women or only the bad women were shown. With that, you're really trying to convince me that there would be no women whatsoever that have the knowledge, that have this understanding of how it feels to be under the boot of somebody else, not be in power. The thing that kind of disappointed me about the whole premise, you know, women having power over men, is yes, we are shown that women have power over men, but we're not shown how the power imbalance is different. I want to know what organizations women would put into place. Like, would there be new abortion laws? Would there be new rape laws? Would there be new sexual assault laws? What would be different about having women in power instead of the men? It's almost portrayed as there's no benefits whatsoever to women having power. There's, like, automatically it would just be bad. We were watching the powerful women turn into what were the powerful men. And it was just, what's the point? Which leads me into the next section. And this next section is the ending. I thought it was a freaking cop-out. The book ends with everybody deciding to go to nuclear war. It came off to me as the author didn't know how to end it. She had bitten off so much more than she could chew. I remember one reviewer saying that this book felt like a trilogy mashed into one, and honestly, I get it. I understand it incredibly, but it was just, I feel like I really realized it when I got to the ending and was like, everybody just dies? I gave The Power 2 stars. Girl. It was disappointing. There was too much in one book, if I'm gonna be completely honest here. And you're really trying to convince me that there would only be tyrannical women in power? That there's no way that this society would have any benefits whatsoever? Girl, you're high-fiving God with that reach. The feminism in here is very dodgy, like it's very whitewashed. And then to top it all off, society with women in power wouldn't work whatsoever. In fact, you know what we would do? You know what the world would come to? Nuclear war. Anyway, I was very disappointed by The Power. I'm not gonna lie. I am very interested to see what you guys feel about it, those of you who have read it. I hope this can serve as either, you know, a warning to those who want to read it, or maybe, I don't know, this video served as a kind of reassurance to people that didn't like it and felt that they were a minority in that opinion. Know that you're not alone. I don't like the power either. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you guys are staying safe and that you'll check down in the description below, not only for Jess's video, but also for the regular links that I put down there after every video. So I also hope that you guys have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.